Hello and welcome to the Next Level Chops YouTube channel and to part 2 of the Leedy story. In today's video, Sticky is going to demonstrate 2 drum kits which are from the same era as the snare drums that we discussed in part 1. So Sticky, could you just tell us a little bit about what we're going to do today?
Sure, yeah, I've got 2 kits set up here, the 1928 Black Leedy Elite and the 1939 Broadway kit with the Swingster snare drum, the deep one, the 8-inch. So I'm obviously going to start with the earlier one.
Yeah.
The Black Elite. And Leedy did have some notable endorsees in their years. Sonny Greer was particularly famous with Duke Ellington's band. But also there's a guy called Cozy Cole, swing drummer.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that on this kit later on.
Cool.
But this kit, I'm just going to play a little bit in the style from possibly the 1920s and mess about a little bit.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Do I get to have a go on this one later?
You will later, Harry. Yeah, wait till the end.
To me.
So, okay, here we have the 1928 Leedy Black Elite full dress drum set. So, as a result of being full dress, I thought I'd better get my tie on also. So, here we are, 28-inch bass drum. Usual kind of sound from that big boomy sound. And the snare drum, the 14x6. It's a lovely drum, plenty of dynamic range. And rim shot. If you want it. So, got a couple of cymbals on it and a wood block, just typical of the simplistic setup of the day. So, are you ready, Spider Girl? Okay, I think she's ready. So, let's just play a little bit in the sort of style of the day. Here we go. So, I jumped ship from 1928 to 1939, and I'm sat now behind a white marine pearl Leady Broadway drum set, manufactured around about 1939. 1939, of course, being 10 years after the Wall Street crash, and the Leedy company was taken over by Conn manufacturers, the brass instrument makers. And they moved the factory to Elkhart, Indiana, and the badge that you will see is appropriately stamped Leedy, Elkhart, Indiana. So this is a 24-inch bass drum as opposed to a 28, but there's a story about that I'll come to in a minute. 13x9, 16x16, and 14x8 if my tape measure is correct. Okay, so here we are, just a couple of cymbals just for the demonstration of this particular drum set. Now, I mentioned about the bass drum I'd come back to later. Well, later's already come. This, we reckon, was a 28-inch bass drum, because if you look at the odd number of lugs, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is unusual. It should be 10 or 8, depending on the size of the bass drum, or even less if it's much smaller. But a 28-inch bass drum, more likely to have 10 lugs. So, with the odd number of lugs, I got the information from Alan Buckley actually to substantiate the fact that this bass drum had been cut down. I said, what, in depth? He said, no, in diameter. And I thought that's not possible. But after consultation at the drum fair, the NDF fair, in about 2015 or so, I asked a guy called Roy Holliday, who's an aficionado and is in his 80s now, and he knows all about these drums. And he actually used to cut down drums after the war from the larger sizes to the popular smaller sizes that were coming in. And he looked at it and said, "Yep, has been cut down." But how did they do that? And he said to me, "Well, to strip the whole thing, delaminate it, put it back together again at the right size, and hope that the lugs match up without any more holes." Well, whatever they did this one right. And he said this was an American cut down job. So here we have the 24-inch bass drum, probably size as a 28, with 9 lugs. So that's the odd one, but it sounds pretty good. And the rest of them, they sound pretty good too. So, Leedy were very popular drums, but of course, Ludwig took over in the big names. But one of the endorsees that stuck with Leedy was a fabulous drummer, a swing drummer called C.G.Conn. He's a friend of Buddy Rich's, and of course Gene Krupa. They were together in many occasions. They studied together, had a drum school together, and also appeared in the Glenn Miller Story, playing a duet. So I think it's appropriate then to play a little bit and improvise thereafter on C.G.Conn's big hit, Topsy. Topsy Part 1 by C.G.Conn. Roll 'em, Harry!